It. I'm out here at the beach in Brooklyn. It's actually a lot darker than it is. Just under this nice light over here. And thought it'd be an opportune time to continue off of my previous live, which was about checking a woman. And part of that shit has to do with your feelings. And it's one of the biggest roadblocks that a lot of guys go through. So we got the boat in the background. But one of the biggest roadblocks is your feelings. And you see, when a lot of guys, they will get into their emotions. They'll get into their feelings about the situation they're in. They love their woman. Uh, they feel very attached to her. All kinds of shit like that, right? And and they'll get into arguments, which you should never do as a man. So they'll get into arguments, they'll get into disputes, and when you engage in your feelings, wow, this is really nice back there, the sunset. So when you engage in the realm of your emotions, and that's how you're coming into your how you're coming into the situation with your woman, it's nearly impossible to think straight. And she knows this. And any ladies watching this, don't get me wrong when I say this, but women are really, really good at not thinking straight. And I don't mean that in any sort of derogatory way, but women are really good at thinking in curves, if that makes more sense, right? Men think straight, women think in curves, and they can do circles around most guys. So, and that's because most guys just can't operate in the same way. So when they do get into that emotional arena with women, then they get supremely owned. That happens all the time. It happens to my clients from time to time when they lose their focus and they get into tussles. All right. And really what happens is that when a guy is in this emotional realm, it prevents him from really being able to think straight. Oh, this is really nice out here. It looks like storm clouds are coming through. It's a lot darker. I don't very bright on the camera, but really dark clouds. We got Coney Island lights in the background there. But so when you're all tangled up in your feelings, when you're all tangled up in your feelings, it's it's really impossible to it's really impossible to lead. It really is. Because in order to lead, you have to be able to see farther. Okay? You have to be able to see into the distance. And when you're in an argument and your emotions are getting triggered, you can't see into the distance. You're stuck right at the end of your nose. And it's really difficult to kind of gain that back. And then there becomes this wrestling match for who's got the upper hand in a very short-sighted arena. It's a very short arena. And like, you talk to guys who got into an argument with a woman and say, well, what are you arguing about? And they always say, oh, it's just something stupid. They'll say, I left the toilet seat up again, or some bullshit like that. And so it's always something small. And so you get this heated shit over something very short-sighted. It's not about the plan. It's not about the program. It's not about what's happening in distance, what's happening over the field, right? It's usually something really small and really petty, and then you get sucked in, and it's impossible to lead from this position. So what's the cure? Well, you really got to learn how to fuck your feelings. Honestly, there's not many situations where your emotions will help you create something or solve a problem. Now, I'm not saying that you should be completely devoid of your feelings, but what I'm saying is that you should have them under control, that they should not control you. They shouldn't cause you to make rash any decisions, because if you allow them to, you'll create rash decisions. Okay. You shouldn't allow them to affect your actions or any of your decisions for that matter. So you really have to just first notice it, of course, when you feel your emotions coming up, recognize them, and then choose to do something other than that. Take a second, take a breath, and then figure out what it is you're going to do moving forward. I know in the heat of the moment, that's hard, but just like any other skill, it takes time and practice. It takes time and practice to to learn anything, to develop it to the point where it becomes second nature. Uh, it happened to me when I was so many years ago. When I was a young man, I lived in a kung fu Shaolin temple. I had the whole shaved head and the orange robes, beads, incense, chanting, the whole shit. Trained kung fu for like 8 hours a day, every day. And I remember I was at my locker because I lived at the temple, so I had this closet, and and I opened the door, and something had fallen from the top of the a shelf inside the closet, and without even thinking or looking, my hand shot out in front of me, and I caught whatever it was, and and it happened, and I looked at my hand, I was like, "Holy shit! What the fuck just happened?" Like my body had been trained to react to certain stimuli that I no longer even had to look in the direction of what I wanted to do. And and that's sort of like what you have to do with your own mind when it comes to situations. You have to train it over and over and over and over and grill it and form it and shape it, forge it into the shape you want it to be, right? Because I wasn't doing fucking leaping kicks and fucking helicopter kicks through the air on my first day. No, I was busting my ass, hitting the ground, all sorts of shit, okay, until it finally clicked. And if you keep this up, your mental fortitude, it will click for you as well. It'll click into place, and then you'll start feeling that there's no feeling. Someone right in front of you could be totally fucking gassed up about, I don't know, some kind of bullshit, and you're completely nonplussed, as they say in England, right? You'll be completely unaffected, just like you're standing here watching the waves. The waves roll in, they make a splash, and then they roll out. And that's how observing your woman's emotional reactions can be. They roll in, they splash about, and then they roll out. That's it. That's it. And then once you have that calmness and that mental strength, it's at that point that you can lead. So like all these guys, they want to lead. I want to lead. I want to be a leader, right? They're coming at that with, yes, it's great. Like I applaud men who want to lead. I think that's fantastic. Man, isn't that shit fucking beautiful out there? Such a nice view. Uh, I applaud men who want to lead, but it's coming from the wrong place. I don't really want to lead. I just lead, right? That's like saying, does a tiger want to be a tiger? No. No, the tiger just does its tiger thing. Okay, it doesn't really think about it. It just is. And so when you're thinking about it, it's this thing that's outside of you that you're trying to access because your emotions think that it'll make you feel a certain way if you achieved it. And that's not how it works. Now it's still this thing that you're trying to have, which is good because it implies that you don't have it. And when you don't have it, that gives you insight further into yourself, which is great. But don't stop there. Understand that it's uh it's coming from that emotional place. But when you don't have that, that's when women can feel this from you. They can feel your emotional control. They can feel your lack of emotions. They really can. And it gives them peace. I know you hear them complaining about it and shit, but when they complain about the men having no emotional range or emotional intelligence, or they want more emotions from their man, that's what you hear a lot of. They're not really asking for that. They're asking for something different. They're asking for more emotional stimulation for themselves. But I'll get into that in another video. Actually, why they want that and how it's done. But you can't do that until you do this first, right? You have to be separated and under control, and that level of control, and it doesn't come from a place of fighting, like I'm fighting to have emotional control, like you have fucking diarrhea, but you're like holding it in with force, right? That's not emotional control. Emotional control is actually coming from a very peaceful place. It's just with open hands. There's no grasping, right? Or resisting. It's very relaxed. When you're in this state, when you're in this state of man, it's a very calm place. It's very calm because nothing can perturb you. Nothing can move you off of your peace because you create your peace and you protect your peace. So there's really nothing that can get through unless you allow it, because you're the guardian, you're the king, you're the guards, you're the castle, you're also the people. But that's some other shit. But it's having that emotional control that's calm and peaceful that gives women the feeling of, I can trust this guy because he's not volatile. He's not unpredictable. Now, there are ways to be unpredictable, like sexually or just physically. You're going to do stuff or whatever with your plans or having fun. That's a good place to be unpredictable. But emotionally, no, not a good look. It is not a good look to be emotionally unpredictable because women know themselves as emotionally unpredictable. And so they don't want to date themselves. They know the unsettling feeling that can come from that. And they don't want to see that in you. So when you're the direct opposite, you are the immovable force, then, or the immovable objects. Sorry, that's unstoppable force and immovable object. So if you are the immovable object, that gives her peace on many levels. It says to her, I can be myself and it's not going to bother him. I can be my sexual self and he's not going to judge me. I can freak out and he's not going to freak out. I can depend on him emotionally for his stability because I'm not like that all the time. I can I can depend on him for emotional safety, that he's going to protect me. And she can let herself loose. But so many guys, they're out here and you've seen them. Oh man, I was on Clubhouse earlier today, and I I was listening to so many emotional men, and it's it's almost like it's gotten to the point where they're almost proud of it. They're proud of being that emotional guy. That and they put a label on it, like they're being emotionally intelligent, emotionally expressive. But the truth is that women aren't fucking these guys. Like, yes, the woman will applaud them and encourage them and be, yeah, go get in touch with their feelings. And that might be great for some guys, and that might be great for you on a personal level. But understand that it does not promote stability. In an emergency, if you see men freaking out, you're gonna think something's really, really fucked up. you 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 see a bunch of grown ass men running away from something, you know that there's a problem, like a really big problem. It better be a monster too, because I don't want to see a bunch of grown men running away from dangerous things. So once you have that groundedness, because that's what happens. It's like you start when you just let go of wanting to be emotional, allowing yourself to be volatile and unpredictable. Holy shit. You probably won't be able to see it, but no, you can't fucking see it. But the sun, whatever. The sun is like right on the fucking horizon, and it's just this deep red ball, but not the whole thing. It's just a stripe, like maybe 1/3 of the sun. A stripe of it is visible just above the horizon, and this is like really, really deep, like LED red. Holy shit, that's cool. And that's because when it's lower in the horizon, the wavelengths are longer, so we see the red light going through the atmosphere. But anyways, so when you're grounded like that, it's almost like you create your own gravitational pull. You become. It's like, yeah, I'm not this type, but maybe some religious types might be able to understand or relate. But you your spirit becomes heavier. It's like you become more dense when you have emotional control. And then from this, that's when you can lead. Because now you're not feeling anything. You're not feeling your way through your situations. Think about it. Most guys feel their way through situations. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel great at work. I don't feel like practicing guitar. This feels great. All feeling, feeling, feeling. Tons of feeling going on. This is not the way, as the Mandalorian says. The way is creating inner peace. And inner peace is not some fucking crazy shit with Buddhists and Om and something metaphysical. It's just fucking having control of your emotions. Or better stated, disallowing your emotions from controlling you. It's severing a tie. And it's at that point that people can trust you. Men can trust you. Because I'm not going to fuck with a man who is emotionally volatile. He's untrustworthy because he's unpredictable. I don't know what he's going to do from moment to moment. But a man who shows up consistently as he is with an amount of control over himself, that's a man that I can trust. At least on the level of trust that he's going to be consistent. And so what of leadership from this? The leadership, the leadership comes so easy at that point. Waves behind me. The leadership comes so easy at this point because now, once you severed that tie and you have prevented emotions from affecting your thinking patterns, your behavior, your words, you now have a clear mind for the first time in your life. And when you learn to do this through practice, right? Remember, it's not just this light switch, like you just flip, like, oh, you know what? I'm going to choose to have emotional control for the rest of my days. Flick. It doesn't work that way. It's something you have to develop. It's a muscle that you have to practice daily. And then you get used to it, and then it just becomes natural, much like me catching that falling object out of the closet. But once that comes into fruition, you get a sense of ease inside you. And for the first time in your life, you're going to think clearly. For the first time in your life, you will actually be able to think. You'll actually be able to plan. And this is how you can set up your program. You can't even set up a program. Like guys will say, yeah, I got a program. And then you hear them fucking complaining about women. You see them getting upset about some shit that's fucking petty, right? You observe them being unpredictable emotionally. They're lying. They're lying about having a program. The only way that you can have a program is if you are thinking cleanly and clearly. And then you can set up any fucking thing you want. I should make a PDF of my rules, my relationship rules, because I've got layers of rules. All right, and so I've got rules for myself for one. Then I've got rules specific to my girl. She has rules for the public. She has rules for private. She has rules pertaining to sex. And she has rules pertaining to distance, like if I'm traveling or she's traveling. All of these rules. And there's probably about 10 in each category. And then there's a matter of the things that I'm setting up that are not immediate, meaning there's stuff that in development. So I have certain things in place that have a longer lasting effect. Skill building, for example. I won't be so apologize for being so vague, but there's skill building involved. That's part of the program because I can see she has potential in something. So I decide, okay, this is what you're going to learn because I can see you have an affinity for this thing. I put her on a weekly training program with bi-weekly check-ins to see how she's progressing. So you guys want to be fucking leaders, and you have no no desire. You want to feel like a leader. Again, feelings. You want to feel like a leader, but you don't want the responsibility of leading. And that's the fucked up part. You want, and again, like it's all just coming from feelings. I want to feel badass. But what does it take to be badass? You want to feel like a leader, but you don't know what it takes to be a leader. It's basically constant work. It's being vigilant. It's constantly being on point on top of your program to make sure that it's running well all the time. I mean, it's basically saying, do you want to be your own business owner? And a lot of people want to be a business owner because it feels good. They like the idea. They like how the idea makes them feel. But that's not really a business owner. Business owners work. A business owner basically has no time off. They work 7 days a week. Multiple, their days aren't 8-hour days. They have like 12-hour days, 16-hour days. And that's what it's like being a leader in a relationship or in any situation for that matter. You're always leading, you're always thinking ahead, multiple steps. So think twice. Now, this is not to say that you can't be in a relationship if you're not the leader. I know there's a lot of rhetoric out there saying, well, you have to be, the man is the leader, the man is the head, the woman's the neck, blah, 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 blah. There is a fucking shit ton of relationships out there that work very well where the man is not this type of leader. But if you are this type of leader, you know you have it in you, but you just don't know what to do, get in touch with me. Let's have a chat. All right. And you'll know. You know if you're that guy, and you know if you're not that guy. If you're like rolling your eyes thinking that sounds like a lot of work, well, then it's not you. It's not for you. And that's quite all right. That is really no problem whatsoever. Because it's not cut out for everybody. That's like saying everyone's cut out to do specific roles in the military. That's just not the case. Not everyone's cut out for the military, and not everyone's cut out for specific roles in the military. And that's just the way it is. And it's all right. I know relationships that are female led and they're happy. But that's because the guy and the girl have accepted what they are. They've accepted that they work best in a matriarchal situation. And that's okay. It's only not okay when you are fighting your reality. Wasn't who said that? Was that ARC? I think Alan Roger Curry said that's like anxiety comes from fighting the reality or something along those lines. I'll have to ask Lucario about that one. But the point is that if you accept what you are, you accept your reality, this will allow you to more easily get in line with the types of relationships that might work for you. Because I love strong male-led relationships. I love it. It makes a lot of sense to me. But that's because I am one. That's how I see the world. That's where I operate from. That's where I come from. So I get it. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way. And if you're not that way, it doesn't mean you're less of a man. It just means you're a different kind of man. But whatever that is, you better stand fucking 10 toes down on it. You better do it. Because that is what differentiates men. Is knowing what he is and be able to defend it with strength, conviction. All right? So, in dealing with those that do want to learn how to be a leader, it starts with that emotional control. You can't have anything, nothing. You can't have anything if you don't have emotional control. You will not be able to create a program because you're not thinking straight. Because your thoughts and ideas are going to be coming from either protecting yourself from certain feelings or trying to gain certain feelings that you're after. And that's not how you should be operating. That's not how it goes. You do things because that's what's right, based on your own principles. And your principles should have nothing to do with how you feel. And then after you have your feelings under control, then you can plan. Then you can start creating your program. Then you can really create the lay of the land and create the laws that allow that land to function regularly. That's how it works. Got the beach police out here. Driving their little dune buggies. Faces still on their phones though. Nice. So, but like the police, you know, you you can't have something that 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 enforces laws. You can't have something that enforces laws without the laws first. And you can't have the laws first without belief in the system, which means you have to have belief in yourself, trust in yourself, no doubt in the self. This is what's important. This is what's integral to making things move forward. So many fucking bitch ass guys are concerned. It's low. Concerned about, is she paying attention to me? Are girls paying attention to me? See how, like, when I bring it back to that, you see far apart, how far apart so many guys are from being men. Guys are out here so concerned with what women are doing. They're concerned with making sure that women are noticing them on social media. It's mind blowing what they're concerned about, and they really have their priorities way off aim. They should be focused more on, what do I want, and are these wants governed by my feelings? If they are, they're false wants. But once you get to the point of being able to set up your wants, what is it that you want for your state? That's how you lead. That's how you can create something. But if you're worried about women, if you get upset because a woman doesn't like you, if you get upset because you're not getting the attention that you think you deserve, you're fucking lost. You're lost. Now, I'm not telling you to give up, but I am telling you that you're fucking lost. You need focus. You need to figure out what it is that you fucking want, what your needs are as a man. This is extremely important. Because again, like I said, what I was mentioning before about having that uh, that groundedness in you that is unshakable, and how that gives her the confidence. Knowing what you want also gives her the confidence, because this is it gives her the sense that you know where something is going. It gives her the sense of, I know where my man wants to take me, where he wants to take himself, and then she can join you if you want, right? But again, it's like, where guys, where are they stuck? What do they want? They're stuck on getting ass. They're stuck on on sleeping with women. That's what they want. That is so short-sighted. So short-sighted. I want box from women. And it's wild because it's one of the easiest things to get from a woman. And guys will be like, "Oh yeah, that's easy," or whatever. They'll say some bullshit about a statement like that. But that's because they don't know any layers beyond pussy. Because they're stuck on what they see. They're stuck on the fucking marketing that they see. And they're looking at bad bitches, they're looking at hotties, they're looking at baddies, and they're like, oh, look at that. I want to put my penis in it. And that's where they're left. They're stuck on just like one step in front of their nose, not realizing that there is a huge vastness inside women that is like largely untapped by the majority of men. Largely untapped. But you can't get there. You can't get there because you're stuck in your emotions. You're completely driven by getting pussy. And you're afraid of rejection. Like, does that sound like a warrior's mind? Does that sound like a king's mind? No. Warriors and kings don't worry about women. Dude is high as fuck out here on the boardwalk. Listen to some weird music, man. But to my point, you have to have a greater vision. Like, do you think Alexander the fucking Great, right, was worried about getting bitches? No. No, he was not. When the Roman Empire was being built, do you think Marcus Aurelius was worried about women? No. He had a larger structure in mind. His vision went like 100 years into the future. Now, I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm not saying that's what you need to, like, how far your vision has to be as a man, right? But you have to have some kind of vision that's beyond, oh, I hope I can get to sleep with her tonight. Like, come on. Like, ask more of yourself. Demand more of yourself. What do you want? But you can't get to your wants again until you get under emotional control, because currently your wants are based on what achieving those wants will make you feel like. Well, what's the bigger purpose of getting your wants? Your emotions are not the way. All right, I'm going to click off here. Been going for a little over half an hour. I'm going to try to keep my live streams somewhat short because people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So I'm going to keep them short and sweet. But I hope this was informative for you. If you have any questions about leadership, setting up a structure within your relationship, or setting up rules, or if you want to learn more about the BDSM lifestyle, get in touch with me. I can be reached through Facebook, or you can reach me through Instagram. My new account is the Dominance Academy 2. Sorry, my new account is the Dominance Academy 2, the numeral 2, not TWO. And just request to follow me there because it's on private, so I don't upset any more snowflakes and get canceled again on Instagram. So yeah, hit me up if you have any questions. My first call with everybody is free, and we can talk about whatever. It could be about my program. It could be about your relationship. It could be about dating. It could be about flogging or toys or, behavioral conditioning, whatever you want to do. So, man, tonight is the supermoon. It's fucking huge and orange. This is wild. I wish that I could take a picture of it, but it always comes out poorly. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you watching. Please give a like, and I'll see you next time.